Hi there, welcome back to my channel, it's James here, I hope you're doing okay. So it's been a few weeks, 2, 3, 4, I can't remember, since I made one of these videos. I've just been kind of laying low. My motivation was not really there, so I just wanted to take a little bit of time, but now I am back. Hopefully with a more consistent uploading schedule, we'll see. So to get back into things, we're going to keep it super basic today. I'm just going to show some of the aroids that I have acquired over the past month or 2 months. Just a couple of them, some trades, some purchases. I haven't bought as many aroids as usual. I've maybe bought like 5 the whole of 2021 so far. Mostly I've been getting Hoya, and I have received a lot through trades. So yeah, we're just going to talk about that. I'm also going to show you my moss wool. So one of the 3 moss wools that I made, I was going to do it inside the tent, but I find the light kind of washes out the colors of the plants. So I wanted to do it out here because I think it looks a little bit nicer in the natural light. Right, we're going to start with the moss wool, which I'm just going to pick up here. I don't really know how I'm going to show this to you. I will put a picture of what this looked like when I put it together about 3 months ago, I think, at this point. But as you can see, it's doing super, oh, I just love it. I just think it's looking so nice at the moment. You don't have to see me. So down there, let's kind of talk through what's here, starting from the bottom. So right at the bottom now, I've got in the center, a Queen Antherium and Antherium warocqueanum. I won't talk about everything, we'll just kind of scan through. Then those kind of bluish Philodendron that climb up here, these are Philodendron ushanum, which are lovely. So I've got a melanochrysum that goes all the way up to there. Then I have, what else have we got? In the center, there's a little Antherium crystallinum that you can see, that big heart-shaped leaf. Then we have a Philodendron gigas here, which is getting really big. That tumbling plant, the kind of one with the long vines, is a Dischidia rucifolia variegated, which is lovely. Rucifolia, I can't remember. And then we have a lot of this Rhaphidophora cryptantha. There's also some variegated Rhaphidophora hyi round and about here. There's one there. There's some Celaticolis, which I can't see because it's buried. There's also a Belmax Fantasy, which is hidden. There's a lot of stuff, but I'm just really happy with the way it's fitting out. Obviously, the choices of plants that I made were very bad because all of them, minus the sort of Dischidia, some of the Hoya, there are some orchids on there, and the Philodendron ushanum, all of them are going to get really big, and the Belmax Fantasy. So I'm going to be doing a lot of trimming. Like already, that Milano is just getting really too big. So I think over the summer there's going to be a lot of chopping and propping here. And if I turn it around, so I spoke about this before, if I were to make a moss wool now, I would do it differently. But the way I did this was I just took 2 shelves from a greenhouse that I'm no longer using, sandwiched sphagnum between, and stuffed plants in. I don't know how many, if you can see the roots in the back. It's really not that thick at all. So obviously it's not a long-term solution, but for now it's working really nicely. In terms of watering for this one, if you have something similar, I basically spray it down. I've got like a pressure hose thing. I would say I water it every 2 to 3 days. I'll do 1 watering with some fertilizer in the container and 1 without. And then every month or so I've been soaking it. I've been putting it inside like the bath or the shower and giving it a really good drench through. And it dries very fast, which is I think why a lot of the plants have been liking it, particularly the orchids, the Dischidia and the Hoya, because there's a really consistent wet-dry cycle, which is nice. So yeah, that's my little moss wool. Nothing super exciting. I'll definitely do a sort of a video on those specifically, talking about that one, a little bit more about the care, and also the 2 others, which I haven't shown for a while. I think I showed one of them before, but the second one I haven't shown at all. And there are some really nice plants on there doing super well. So yeah, for now, we're going to jump into these aroids. Like I said, this isn't particularly interesting. If you're here for like care tips and stuff, this might be a video you want to skip. I'm literally just talking about plants. Right, this first one that I've got is, doesn't look like it, but it is a Philodendron Florida Beauty, so the variegated Philodendron Florida. I got this in a swap and it had 2 leaves at the time of the swap. It had a really beautifully variegated leaf, and it had this sort of solid green one, but which still has some good variegation in the stem, if you can see there. So yeah, the variegated leaf died in shipping, so it arrived without, but it is putting through some new growth there, and the roots are pretty good. You can see they're kind of wrapping around the base of the pot there. If it's ever going to focus on anything other than my face. Yeah, Anyway, it's doing fine. I was a little bit disappointed. I traded this for a Philodendron bicolor cutting, which if you've been watching for a while, you know is like, it's my favorite Philodendron still, after all this time. So I was a little bit disappointed with the condition of it. It didn't have any roots or anything, but there you go. You win some, you lose some. Also, it's frustrating because I got this one, the second leaf was maybe a tiny bit larger than this, but just as I got this, my other Florida Beauty that I have in the other moss wall started putting out huge leaves. So I have a leaf that's maybe like an inch shorter than this on the moss wall. So it didn't make any sense, but at least I have another Florida Beauty. And I'm very excited to see what it does because it has super good variegation in the stem. So yeah, that's cool. The next one for today is this beautiful little Philodendron that I got from our department. And oh my goodness, I've just noticed that it's rooting into the moss, which is very exciting. So this, along with another plant, was stuck in the post for 2 and a bit weeks. And they arrived pretty sadly. The other one is still in the grow tent rehabbing. But yeah, it's got a little growth point there. This is a Philodendron SP Napo, so species Napo. Presumably it was found somewhere near the Napo River in the Amazon, I assume. It's a little bit discolored because of the shock, obviously, but when they come through and they're healthy, they have really striking kind of pink leaves. The front is this glaucous kind of blue-green, which is really beautiful, and the petioles are really interesting. They have like a flat upper surface, and then the bottom is curved. It's almost a triangle, like a slightly off triangle. Really, really cool, and I'm so happy that it's rooting. I can see 4 or 5 little roots pressing against the side of the pot. This is the benefit of using these plastic pots. Obviously you want to reuse them. Do not buy these and throw them away. I bought a bunch of them and I've been reusing them, cycling plants through as I trade or as I sell. So yeah, they're really, really great for just checking what's going on with the roots without having to disturb. Yeah, really nice Philodendron. Napo, I will update you as it settles in, but I think it will do some pretty good growing in the grow tent. Speaking of propagations that I was saying before, if you are based in the UK and you're looking for some extra plants at this point of the year, I'm trying to clean out this grow tent, well, both of them, because they are just absolutely full of plants because I didn't stop propagating and growing stuff throughout the winter, obviously. So yeah, I'm going to be selling weekly on my stories. If you're interested, go and have a look. 3 more to talk about. Let's do just this little Monstera, shall we? Yeah. So this guy, this beautiful Monstera arrived like 4 or 5 days ago, really not a long time ago at all. I bought this with a friend, Bobby, who lives up in London, and yeah, this is a Monstera Oblique Amazonas. It is part of the Oblique complex. I don't think there's an exact ID on it, but it is the one that is known as Amazonas. And as it matures, these leaves kind of lengthen out and they get really, really cool fenestration, so it kind of looks like a pendant leaf oblique, if that makes sense. It is in moss because the roots on the stem rotted, so I'm just trying to get it back on track. But as you can see, the leaves are still pretty happy, like there's no floppiness, there's a tiny bit of yellowing here, but I think it's going to be completely fine. And it's very exciting. Another oblique to look at. So I will definitely keep you updated on this. Our plan at the moment is to let it grow, to try and get some of the fenestrations going, and then we'll split the plant and I'll share it with Bobby. But yeah, really, really lovely plant. I don't know if it's going to focus. The texture of the leaves is really nice. It does kind of just look like at this point, an unfenestrated Adansonia with slightly lengthened leaves, or it's almost like the Monstera siltepecana texture without that silvery very Monstera-y, and I'm excited to see what it does. So yeah, that's the little Monstera Oblique Amazonas. Last 2 plants here before I let you go. This one literally arrived this morning, which is why it's in this bag. It was shipped in this plastic bag, but I might have to take it out because it's reflecting all over the bag. This is an Antherium debilis. So it is a gorgeous Antherium that's in the Splendidum complex, or the Splendidum group, so the same as Luxurians and Splendidum. Apparently very humidity sensitive, which is why I have it in the bag, even though it is in the grow tent. It's just a little bit more comfortable. It has a lot of it's like a less pronounced Luxurians. It doesn't have the red petioles or the red backing to the leaf or anything like that. It's very much a green plant for now. I don't know if that will change as the plant matures, but it's really, really pretty. Really lovely textured, gorgeous leaf. And this came from Rock and Roll Jungle, so I'm sure a lot of you know about him if you're in the UK, but that is a really great shop if you're looking for some of these South American aroids. Yeah, it's got another leaf there, but that's a little bit less of an aesthetically pleasing Antherium. So yeah, it's got some great roots. I'm just going to keep it in this plastic baggie for a little while, and hopefully it will be okay. I'm not anticipating it being too difficult, fingers crossed. Okay, final plant for today, and then bye. So this is another one that I traded. I traded this again for bicolor cutting because I've been after one for a while and they're just really expensive and sort of unattainable at the moment. This is the Philodendron bipenifolium variegated. So in its immature form, it looks very, very similar to like a variegated Florida Beauty, but it kind of has more of this horse head shape. That one is actually a really good example of it. That's what we're looking at as the plant matures. Obviously, it will change a little bit. This one is almost glaucous. I wonder whether this is a variegated blue form, because you know that there's like a bluer form, a green form, and then there's like a more yellow one that has appeared as well. I have no idea, so we'll see what kind of comes up as it matures. But it's really, really lovely. And again, it's rooting into this moss. Can you see? Yes. So I got some of this live moss recently from a certified seller in Wales, I believe. And it's amazing. Really, really good. I'm going to try another couple of places. A lot of people recommend Highland moss that's based in Scotland, so I might try a little bit of that and see what works well. But there's something about like the difference in root growth between the plants that I've put in live moss and just dried moss that I've rehydrated is pretty significant. I'm not sure exactly what it is, whether there's just more kind of like circulation of gases inside the living moss. But yeah, it's just something that I noticed. And this is just a very, very nice plant. Splashy variegation, super striking leaves. Obviously this was cut, so the new leaves coming through are a little bit less mature, but I'm pretty sure that that maturity will come back relatively quickly. So yeah, that is it for today. Just a kind of dipping my toes back into the YouTube pond. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see updates on all of these plants, my moss walls, my grow tents, check out my Instagram at Stugplants. I try and post there pretty regularly. I'm trying to up that as well, if my little distracted brain can deal with it. If you like this video and you want to see more, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon. You could like it if you like, and I will see you very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.